This podcast is brought to you by Pragmatic Play, a leading game developer providing player favorites to the most successful brands across the industry. With an award-winning multi-product portfolio of slots, live casino, bingo, virtual sports, and more, Pragmatic Play is powering up new possibilities of play through one single API. Visit pragmaticplay.com and discover your favorite every time.
But yeah, Eman, it's awesome to have you here. I wanted to kick off today because we're gonna do a deep dive into SiGMA Group. Obviously, we've been friends for a very long time. I remember before you started SiGMA when we spoke the first time through Martin and starting SiGMA and kind of seeing the show grow from the very first year into what it is today. But I just want to start off on an interesting note. I remember a couple of years ago, there was like a really strong rumor that SiGMA was about to be sold, and everyone was talking about it, and it ended up seemingly not going through. Can you clarify this rumor? Like, what happened?
My God, you're going in there on.
Yes, we're starting at a high note
right from the beginning. Yeah, there is no warming up with you.
No, Mr. Beast told me that you have to start on a high note. Yes.
True. Look, enough time has passed now, and the rumors were true, right? We were looking at an exit, not convinced, but looking at it, to the extent that we had passed all legal due diligence, commercial due diligence, and that exercise lasted over a year, right? So 12 months of painstaking due diligence, which we've passed with flying colors, and COVID hit. So we're talking around March 2020. Right, and the exit was based on an earn-out, and it didn't make sense. Right, there's no way you're going to have a healthy earn-out of 3 years in the midst of COVID. Right. So yeah, quite frankly, the deal was just called off, and thank God for that, because 3 years ago when we were selling the SiGMA, it was just SiGMA back then, not even the SiGMA Group. When we were selling SiGMA, it was just one event in Malta. So fast forward 3 years. And now we have 6 conferences around the world, all of which are extremely successful. We also have invested in a media group, so we want to become affiliates. There's an angle there which I'm experimenting with. It's a risky one. It's a bold one. We can talk about it later on. But we're not just events. We're also an affiliate company. And during COVID as well, we launched a VC fund called Ikigai Ventures, a 20 million fund, where we invest in rock stars of the industry. Plenty of rock stars who deserve a chance, and cautiously optimistic this will also do well.
Yeah, interesting. And so, do you sometimes aspire to maybe picking up that conversation again? Do you think you'll ever sell SiGMA in the future?
I'm having so much fun with it, man. I'm learning so much. When I was looking at exiting, I thought, I'm done, right? Yeah. So you could sell a company not having to worry about where your next meal is coming from, right? The exit signified that, and to me that was very valuable. But now the SiGMA Group is in a completely different ballgame. It's not just about events. It's also the intersection between events, the VC world, the affiliate business, frontier technology coming into gaming. So because we also have a vertical on frontier tech. It's learning customs, culture, and the way business is done in LATAM, in Asia, in Africa, in the CIS markets, in the Middle East. This is amazing, right? We didn't have this 3 years ago. It was only thanks to COVID that gave us a reinvigorated strength to get out of our comfort zone. And we just went for it. And it's a learning curve. It's a learning process. I had no idea what VC is until 3 years ago. I had no idea what private equity is, what even digital marketing is, to the extent that we know it today. Had no idea of M&A. Had no idea of what's going on outside the comfort zone of Europe. And I'm learning all of this as we go along. So I don't think we're quite ready for a sale yet. We're also having fun growing not only organically, which is what we've done until recently, but we have also mastered, to an extent, with a lot of help, growing through acquisitions as well. I can expand on 3 acquisitions that we did just this year. One was Brazilian iGaming conference, which helped us set foot in the LATAM market and have locals based in Latin America. An acquisition of an affiliate site, which helped propel our media business. And one that I have really close to heart is the part acquisition of Affiliate World. To me, it's the #1 affiliate conference for all verticals, not just gaming, all verticals. They do a show in Barcelona, a show in Bangkok, and a show in Dubai. And part of the acquisition is aligning their shows together with SiGMA, so we can provide a healthy bloodline of new affiliates to the show. So I can talk ad eternum about all of this, but yes, I'm learning the art of growing not only organically, but growing also through strategic acquisitions. Yeah? And quite frankly, no, we're not ready to sell.
So you went essentially from a company ready to be sold to the company that buys other companies. Then at the end of the day, and, Eman, I like just to point out, I've known you for a long time, like I said, and you built SiGMA with really high energy, and you're definitely not scared of risk as you have gone through this journey as well. Do you think if you would sell SiGMA, so, what would you do? Because I get the feeling sometimes with entrepreneurs I speak to and so on that the high energy and the risk taking and the crazy day to day becomes an addiction at the end of the day. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't see myself retiring for more than half an hour. Right?
Yes,
my
lay on
mind
the beach
starts,
for one day and then.
Oh yeah, then I'm bored. But yeah, I've already set myself up for the future, thanks to 2 things, right? Ikigai Ventures has a 10-year mandate, so we're building projects with the aim of exiting around 2030. So there's Ikigai Ventures, which will keep me entrenched in the industry. And something which I have very close to my heart is the SiGMA Foundation. So I have no plans of retiring from either of those 2.
No.
Everyone dreams of becoming a millionaire, right? And I also had that dream of becoming a millionaire. Once you become more millionaire in monetary terms,
Yes.
you start realizing it's okay. It's not such a big fucking deal after all. And today I look at becoming a millionaire by the positive impact you can leave behind you. And by positive impact, I mean, yes, I want to become a millionaire, but I define becoming millionaire the day I'll be able to positively impact 1 million people on this world. And so that's a journey that will take time. The foundations are set. The SiGMA Foundation is operational. And it is my ultimate wish to impact positively as many people in this world before I lay to rest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they say that money can't buy happiness, right? But money can buy a jet ski, and pretty happy on a jet ski.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fair enough. So let's break down these kind of verticals that you have in the company one by one. It'd be interesting to understand the company a bit better, because SiGMA Group, as you point out now, in the last 3 years has expanded from this one core event that kind of built the company, that set the foundation, and then you have kind of springboarded into a lot of other opportunities here. So let's start on the Ikigai front. So you launched this venture fund in kind of the peak of the markets in 2021, I believe. And it's a 20 million euro fund that you're investing within the gaming space, I believe. So can you talk first of all, what are the main investments in the Ikigai fund today, and what type of opportunities are you looking to invest in? And then finally as well, perhaps, can you talk more about the venture landscape at the moment, because we are in a high inflation kind of landscape right now, high interest rates, and investors are perhaps seeking themselves to more
Yeah.
safe spaces rather than like venture high risk spaces? Or like how does that impact your fund as well?
Yeah, look, we can talk all day about the landscape. Truth be told, is our fund is a small 20 million fund, of which 16 million is my own money. So
I'm looking forward to the day I can call a 20 million euro fund a small fund.
Oh,
But
there's big. I'll tell you one thing. There's big whales out there talking €1 billion
for sure.
funds. So we're really. This is my first fund. The plan is to have more funds as we go along.
Yeah.
60 million is my own money, so I have a lot of skin in the game, and 4 million has been invested by limited partners from within the industry.
Okay.
Folks like the guy behind SoftBet, the guy behind BetConstruct.
Yeah.
Some folks from Japan, some folks from Germany, all big players in the industry. And they're more of strategic investors rather than people who just put in money. Correct. So, it's a 20 million fund. And true, at the moment, interest rates are high, which also is directly correlated to investment and VC appetite being on the low side, risk-wise. But we've had no problems finding rock stars in the industry, approaching them with projects where we come in not only with money, but we come in also with good governance. We give them all the support they need, whether it's legal, accounting, marketing, sales, HR, everything, right? We just need to find the rock star with 10 years, 15 years experience in the industry, who's proven themselves as a successful CEO, as a leader, who are now ready to take on the next journey as equity partners. So that has worked fairly well so far. We launched a platform in 2022. We're launching games. We launched games in 2023. So 4 projects we want to incubate. Platform, games. 2024 will be the year of crypto payments. We want to launch something in payments. 2025, perhaps a live studio somewhere in Georgia. So that's the mandate of Ikigai Ventures. It's doing fairly well. And I'm hoping that by the end of this decade, by the end of 2030, we'll be returning anywhere between 15 and 20x returns. To all the LPs.
And have you deployed most of that capital yet, or are you still very open to is there still a lot of capital to deploy into?
We deployed 70% of it, but we plan on recycling another 4 million. So 20 million in, but we will invest 24 million because 4 million that we'll collect back from the startups and from successful exits, we will reinvest it in the fund, giving more of an upside to our investors.
And can you mention a few of the portfolio companies that you have?
Yes, Quantum Gaming is one. Wicked Games is another. There's Fastex. We're also investing in this space, not just purely in online gambling, but if we see the intersection between frontier tech and gambling, that's a space we're very comfortable with. So, yes, Fastex, the guys from BetConstruct are behind the project, has been doing tremendously well.
Yeah, they're doing really well, right? The Fastex token is like
4x return in mere 12 months. So the investors are very happy with what's going on in there. Quantum Gaming is already running a profitable business. In 1.5 years, managed to build a platform with its own bonus engine, with a robust team across 3 cities, with an active, healthy pipeline of clients wanting to come in. So yes, the market might be a bit weary of the VC world, but let's not forget the elephant in the room, right? There's huge traction in the online gambling industry. The sector is growing at 10 to 20% a year across different geographical locations. Those new players, this new revenue needs to go somewhere, right? This is as simple as it gets. So unlike the oil industry, which will start shrinking in the coming years, so there's alarm bells ringing. Unlike other industries that are also shrinking, the online gambling industry is growing at a big rate. You know, states are regulating. More countries are realizing that they cannot ban online gambling, so they'd rather regulate it, protect the player, and collect some taxes in everyone's best interest. And state by state, country by country, they're all embracing regulated and safe online gambling. And we want to be in that space.
Right. Do you have any particular like investment thesis? Say like Warren Buffett, you know, he looks at the balance sheet and that's the only thing that is interesting to him. He doesn't care about the latest trend or whatever.
Yeah, no,
obviously he's a hedge fund, which is a bit different time horizons and stuff.
Yeah,
but do you have any particular like
very different
thesis, or do you look at every opportunity individually?
Yeah, we unfortunately let down probably 98% of the startups that land on our desks. So we're very, very selective. And the reason I called it Ikigai Ventures, we look at the rock star, at the person who is, we look at the project obviously, but to us what's really important is, has this person got what it takes? Have they found the Ikigai to get this startup to a profitable business? And by Ikigai, I mean, does this person love what they do? Are they fucking good at it? Does it pay them well from the start, meaning they're not going to burn out? And is their product fixing something in the wider scope of things? So if they hit all four, then we understand this is likely an investable business. Quite frankly, that's our thesis. It's unorthodox. It's based less on numbers like Warren Buffett. And it's because we like to get into startups at an early stage. Right? We like to take a bit more risk because we are there in the trenches with them. We want to get involved with them. We don't just write checks like Warren Buffett would. So yeah, our thesis is completely different.
So you're following to some extent Tim Heath of YOLO's thesis, which is his no dickhead policy.
Yeah, a bit more subtly said probably, but yes, a huge fan of Tim Heath, by the way. I'm a huge fan of Tim.
Brilliant, brilliant. So moving on into the conference landscape and the events that you do. Obviously, through COVID, you decided to now pursue this global strategy where you basically are hosting a major show in each continent at the moment. At the same time, everyone, or not everyone, many people are saying that there are too many shows in the calendar at the moment, and more shows are added. We get this feedback a lot. How does kind of this work out for you guys? Do you get the feeling as well that there are too many shows? Why are people saying this? Do you think, is it sustainable, the kind of the conference landscape that we're in right now, where there's happening a show pretty much every week, every day?
A couple of months,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. If the simple answer is I agree. At the same time, gaming is truly becoming global, right? So until 10 years ago, it was predominantly a European market, right? So a few events in Europe were enough. It's truly becoming global. So what do? We have 6 conferences. We have one in Manila, one in Dubai, one in Africa, it rotates, one in Limassol for the Russian-speaking market and the Balkans, one in Malta for Europe, and one in Latam. Which one would we cancel if we had to cancel one? Which one? I don't know. Tell me quite frankly, which one would you remove if you had to remove one?
Yeah, like my quick analysis would be, I mean, SiGMA Malta is a machine. It's established for 10 years.
10 years
People are
now,
looking forward to it. And I suppose the Limassol one, it's catering to an industry over there in Cyprus that is exploding right now.
You have no idea how many people. So let's call the facts, right?
Yeah.
The Slavic market is booming. Yes. You know, wherever you go, there's 30% of the audience at least coming from Russian-speaking markets. Our conference in Limassol addresses that market. So we have speakers. We have the conference conducted in their language. No other conference does it, as far as I know. So removing the show in Limassol would be insensitive towards the needs of the Slavic market that wants to have a conference that caters for them. right?
Right.
So
Yeah. Asia is underserved. There isn't that many events over there.
Look, Asia, the continent has a population of 4.5 billion people.
Yeah.
And you're telling me Asia doesn't deserve to have a conference dedicated to online gambling
Right.
in the heart of Asia?
Yeah.
Dubai again. Dubai is more about frontier tech, but now the Emirati government has just set up a regulatory body. And mark my words, until recently, you had two meccas. We're talking land-based now.
Yeah.
You had two meccas in Vegas and Macau. Those are the world meccas for land-based gambling. Mark my words, it will take a number of years for Dubai to fill the gap, the geographical gap between the two, and become another world mecca for land-based gambling. Great infrastructure, great hotels, great airport connections, flight connections. They have it all. They have it all. It was just a matter of time for them to switch on the button, and they've done it a few weeks ago with the setup of the new regulatory body. So should we cancel that show? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
But what do you think of, so in Dubai, what's the expectations there? Do you think they'll also warm up to online gambling over there as well, or they are looking at the land-based specifically?
Yeah, great question. I think they're holding the cards very close to their chest, right? So whatever people say for the time being is all speculation. The strongest sign is out there. They have set up a regulatory body for iGaming and lottery. Yeah. They are also inaugurating the first land-based casino. I mean, a few years ago, you wouldn't even dream of saying these words, right? But in 2026, in Ras Al Khaimah, the seventh farthest Emirates of the Arab Emirates, will have its first Wynn casino. It's a beautiful emirate, by the way. If you guys have been to the United Arab Emirates, you've probably been to Dubai or Abu Dhabi for the Grand Prix. I would strongly suggest take a visit once they have the casino, perhaps. Go to Ras Al Khaimah. Beautiful scuba diving, great mountains. It's just an amazing emirate.
Fantastic. And so that's the first emirate to set up a regulation, RAK, over there, and they seem to be more open-minded.
The Arab Emirates, as a country, they set up the regulatory body.
Yeah.
Ras Al Khaimah, as one of the Emirates, will host the first land-based casino in 2026.
Right, so it's two different regulatory bodies. It's the same regulatory body.
One is a regulatory body, is there to regulate. The other one just happens to be the first casino to open in Ras Al Khaimah.
Right, okay. Interesting. Okay, so then we have the Brazil show, obviously huge success this year.
Would you remove that?
But I suppose if you had a gun to your head, I would say that that's probably the riskiest show.
Brazil?
Yeah.
Volatile because of
Latam in general is so volatile over there.
True.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing, judging by the feedback and the response from returning customers. I mean, people who went to our Brazil show, they expected this and they got nice vibe in terms of magnitude. So I don't think it's going to be a flop in 2024, right? Based on the feedback we're getting, we're going to sell out fairly soon and a bigger floor plan. But it all hinges on regulation as well, right? The appetite hinges on regulation. One thing we didn't do, to our defense, I don't want to take credit, but we didn't go to North America because you guys, the guys of Clarion, the guys of G2E, and the guys of SBC, you guys are doing an amazing job in North America, and we honestly feel there's enough of great products there, and that's the reason we haven't yet gone into the North American market.
That makes my blood pressure get a bit lower, so thank you for that.
Come on, man. You guys are killing it in New York, and there's let's call a spade a spade. The shows in North America are not cheap.
No. You know it as well. It's
my God, and the unions start whipping, and so you guys are killing it, and we have total admiration for you.
It's not the easiest show to pull off over, that's for sure. I was going to mention as well. I mean, so like looking at the shows now, as you point out rightly, there's a lot of new shows that are added into the calendar, both from yourself, from SPC. We obviously added our US show during COVID as well. And the feedback is it's been an explosion of shows, right?
But another thing there, if you allow me,
Right.
Pierre, it's true there's 6 shows this year, but if there's one show about LATAM, if there's one show about Asia,
Yeah, exactly.
you as the European guy, you don't have to attend everything, right? If you have a head of marketing focusing on LATAM and you want to target affiliates, you send that guy. You don't need to cover all the ground yourself. So companies grow, companies open offices, satellite offices elsewhere. So you may wish also to send other people to cover more ground, right? A Betson present only in the Nordics is not the same Betson of today that's present everywhere in the world. So what does Betson do? Does Betson attend only ICE, or should they justify attending another few shows throughout the year?
You know, and I think that's the main point here, that COVID changed the industry fundamentally in this regard. That from 2019 to 2022, we have PASPA being repealed in the US, which opened up an entire industry in the US and tens of thousands of professionals there in the space. At the same time, I think your point is excellent, that the industry went from being a very European-centric industry, where the main offices are in Europe. Even if Betson would take players from, say, Latin America or other places, they wouldn't necessarily have local offices.
Touchbish, exactly.
Yeah, everything from Touchbish.
Exactly.
Whereas now you're seeing all the operators are taking a much more localized approach. Offices in the jurisdictions, the competition is tougher, so they need to be much more in tune with the markets they are that they are operating in, and that puts a lot more pressure on kind of expertise being born and grown locally. And so we look at Latin America today, for example. There's a whole community there now of professionals who are who absolutely know the ins and outs of the various markets in Latin America, right? Which we perhaps wouldn't have found 6 or 7 years ago, let's say, to the same extent, perhaps. So I think that's pretty clear. What the two reasons why there are now so many shows? Because number one, the industry is just so much bigger than what it was 5 years ago, and number two, this localized approach had then opened up these continents to a lot more professionals taking place there. But nonetheless,
Thomas Friedman, a very good author, which I love following. Thomas Friedman talks about this term. He coined this term called glocalization. So think global, but also act local. Glocalization. I love
like
the term. Yeah,
I like it.
So just had to throw it.
Yeah. Hence the SiGMA.world. Yes, think global. But nonetheless, we look at the landscape, and as you point out there are still many shows in the industry, and so the question still begs, like, if we think from a bigger perspective, if we take the helicopter view and look at this landscape of so many shows that are out there today, what will happen, do you think, in the future? Like,
I think maybe Darwin has to roll up his sleeves and do something about it.
Survival of the fittest at the end of the day. So do you think for now everyone is thriving? It seems like SPC are doing really well. You guys are doing super well. We are doing our thing, and
you're doing well. Come on, stop being euphemistic about your.
That's where it is to judge, I think. Yeah. But do you think? Do you think at some point there will be like a calm down in the industry? Asking for a friend.
I don't think so, man. I don't. For as long as governments keep embracing it one by one, for as long as technology allows for more adoption, I actually think the other way around. I think it will get even more cluttered. No.
Good.
No, there's look. They're all doing well. There is demand, clearly. There is the demand. So Eman, this is pretty much a therapy session for me, by the way. So thank you for all this. No. If I were advising you, I would tell you pull the throttle and push more, push for more.
Yeah, it's we've chosen an interesting space to build companies in. That's for sure. We haven't chosen the easiest route. That's definitely the truth.
Very true. It is a stressful business, yes.
And so on that note, you decided this year for the flagship event. It's still the flagship event, I suppose, even though the other events are now kind of catching up to some extent. But SiGMA Malta is moving venue this year, and you've chosen a very unorthodox venue for SiGMA Malta. Malta is a small island. We don't have a massive conference expo center, of course, and so the only option that you had perhaps to expand the show is to take over one of the shipyard buildings. Then. And from an organizational point of view, I would be very nervous organizing an event of that magnitude in a non-purpose-built venue. How do you sleep at night knowing that this is coming up?
Look, shitting bricks, but it's not easy, man. It's not easy. It's the venue. It was far from ready, and we had to gut it all out and literally pay for it ourselves, right? So I'll tell you one thing. Yeah. We could have gone to Berlin, we could have gone to Barcelona or Lisbon or London with state-of-the-art facilities, with all the accessories you need, ACs, restrooms, parking, everything state-of-the-art. It would have cost us a fraction of what it's costing us to do it in an unorthodox venue in Malta. Why do we do it? Yes. There's an element of crazy, for sure. But
you gotta respect it.
But we feel that Malta, whatever the naysayers may say, remains still today the hub of online gaming in Europe. It still remains so. And we also owe it to the country, because the show is not just about gaming. The show is also contributing to Maltese economies in many, many ways. So for the time being, we feel that Malta still is the home of this show, and we will not shy away from taking, bold decisions like the one that we did for this year's show to keep the show in Malta. So for the time being and for the next few years, the MMH, the Marsa shipbuilding site, will remain the home of SiGMA in Europe. The venue is 3 to 4 times bigger than the MMFCC. And we sold out in weeks. So if I had the opportunity to get a venue that's 4 times bigger than this one, I think we would sell out. And that's a certificate that maybe the crowd still wants to be in Malta at least once a year.
Yeah, it's incredible show of strength for sure. What would you say are the biggest challenges of hosting an event in a venue like
MMH, Malta Maritime Hub. Sorry. Yeah. Everything, right? We need to outsource ACs. They didn't have powerful ACs in Malta, so we needed to outsource them from Italy. Restrooms. We needed to find 300 restrooms that are, not these blue restrooms you find in parties, that are really nicely done. Those also we had to source from Italy. Boot builders, there's not enough boot builders in Malta. So we had to find, in Malta there's maybe 10 boot builders. We had to find another 40, so we have 50 boot builders. And finding these guys who are going to trust us and bring a couple of containers each is not easy. But we found from Poland, from Germany, from Italy, from Belgrade. And those guys are flying in as well with truckloads to make the show happen. What else? We needed to fix the roof. So got it all out, got the beams, and fix it. If you go now, you'll see people just fixing the roof as we speak. The floor was uneven, so we had to gut it all out and make sure it's done. Put new doors on the expo venue. But it's going to look fantastic. So it's by the sea. It's in this shipyard that has this industrial feel. So we're going to light it all up in, up lighters, UV lights, you name it. We have it. Rotating strobes to light up the ceiling. We're going to have mega yachts by berths acting as booths. So we have around 800 sponsors and exhibitors. Some of those exhibitors won't be indoors, but will be outdoors, so you have this festival feel. We had to bring 20 containers cut them all out and make a nice food court so we can have enough catering areas where people can sit down, have meetings and have lunch. It's truly a festival. So what you're going to see in Malta is unlike any other expo that we organize and that our colleagues in the industry organized. It's truly one festival where let's make friends and the business will flow. This is the vibe that we're trying to create, and I hope we'll manage in November.
Yeah, listening to you talk about this, you have to take out the floor, build a ceiling on this, like kind of renovate the whole thing. Isn't there an opportunity for Ikigai to invest in actually building an expo center?
Oh man, you're hitting a sensitive nerve there. You have no idea how much lobbying we have engaged with. We worked with the most reputable statisticians on the country to compile an economic impact assessment that a show like SiGMA leaves on the island. So these statisticians calculate that just one show of SiGMA would generate the equivalent of 1,000 fully gained employments. So it's the volume it leaves on the country. It's like creating 1,000 jobs in Malta. Imagine if you can do 10 of those a year because of a proper expo venue. You can attract more business. That's the equivalent of 10,000 jobs, creation of 10,000 jobs on the island. We've been lobbying with the government. I think the MFCC needs to be refurbished. Quite frankly, I think it's embarrassing that you bring all these C-levels, hyper successful individuals to a conference, suit and tie, and if it drizzles, there's water droplets falling on their suits because, we're hosting everyone in a tent that's been there for 20 years and no one has bothered investing in a proper expo venue. We want to do it. Yeah. It's just we need to find the political will, right, so we can achieve those goals.
Right. So in the future, it's not the door is not closed yet, essentially.
No. The door is still open. It's just it needs to make sense for all parties, right? So right. So discussions are still ongoing. And I truly believe that Malta deserves to have a state-of-the-art expo venue.
Absolutely. So moving on to next vertical in SiGMA Group, which is affiliation as well in the group. So that's another vertical that you launched a couple of years ago. I saw you're releasing news. You're pushing hard in the US currently with many licenses over there. Can you talk about why did you decide to launch that vertical? Because seemingly you are somewhat competing against your own customers in a way. Have you gotten like any negative feedback from that from affiliates?
None whatsoever.
No?
None whatsoever. Are we competing really? There's 5,000 affiliates. Now there's 5,001. What difference does it make to the affiliates whom we are rolling the red carpet of SiGMA for them to? They don't pay to attend our conferences. We actually fly quite a significant number of affiliates, flights, hotels, entertainment. We work really hard to make sure there's a big list of operators. So we don't expect affiliates to exhibit with us. We don't expect them to spend money with us. We invite them. We curate the guest list of affiliates. So they haven't really complained that we have launched the affiliate business. To the contrary, I used to go to operators begging them to take a stand. You know how hard it is to persuade operators to invest because it's time consuming, let's face it. Booking a stand, having to build it, creatives, it takes away time from your team because they have to focus on it. And typically operators do not find it rewarding to invest in a booth if they're only targeting affiliates. So I used to go to operators back then myself when I used to do all the sales. And operators would tell me, Eman, quite frankly, I like your energy, but, fuck off. Don't bother me with this shit. We don't have the time to exhibit. Those same operators these days, they come to me, they tell me, Eman, okay, what is it going to take for you to put me on the website and send me some traffic? Well, come on, you remember the boot which you refused a few years ago? So
Leverage.
so our affiliate, more seriously, our affiliate business complements extremely well our events business because it helps to keep the ecosystem. SiGMA is always about bringing everyone. It's not a B2B show. It's a show which brings regulators, B2B, B2C, and affiliates under one roof. For us to keep attracting affiliates and operators, we needed to create this media arm. And it's working beautifully.
Yeah, right. And so it's a long-term investment, right? The affiliation, it's painfully long, and you have to build it from scratch.
SEO.
Lots of investment. You don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. Which
SEO
markets
is a
you're
bitch, man. SEO is a very long game.
Sometimes it punishes you. Sometimes it's difficult.
But I'll tell you one thing. I'll share. Maybe it's not the secret sauce, right? Because anyone who has a basic understanding will understand our thesis. SEO requires huge efforts for backlinking, for insightful content, and the SiGMA brand has truly become an authority in iGaming, right? So player A can, any player can read a review on our site. Let's say we're doing a review of a slot game. Then they can also see the CEO of Pragmatic Play raising the SiGMA trophy at the awards. They can see the Pragmatic Play CCO speaking on the SiGMA stage with the SiGMA microphone. So what we're doing with our media business is on a platform that is instilling a level of trust and a level of authority, right? Because we are working with the industry. So I'm hoping that, through organic backlinks that we get from PACOR, from government agencies, that also will help to elevate our media business. Yeah.
Right. Unlike
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. Unlike a traditional affiliate, which would have a very difficult time to get.
They have to pay for backlinks,
really,
right?
hard,
and still,
you still don't get the regulatory bodies to link into a regular affiliate.
You're not going to pay the MGA to give you a backlink, right?
Yeah, not to beat our own drama here too much, Eman, but it feels a little bit like the traditional conference organizers organically are taking more and more space in the industry. Like roll back 7-8 years ago, and we saw the shows. They were like, SiGMA Malta is taking place in November, and you go there, and that's all you hear from that company. And same with ICE, Clarion, whatever. Then you see a news portal appearing, and now you see, you guys going into affiliation. You see M&A is taking place, and the company is growing and growing and growing. It feels like you built the company from a very organic kind of foundation. Unlike, again, in the space of affiliation, again, affiliates starting an affiliate website, doing straight affiliation, will not enjoy the same benefit as you do in terms of what backlinks they can get to the site, for example. And it feels a bit like through the database you're creating, how you can leverage that. The company is becoming more and more powerful, let's say, from this organic beginning. That
in theory, yes.
What's the master plan, Eman? If you
there's
mind me asking, there's a lot of opportunity to
pursue, right? Look, if we can create an ecosystem, this company level, right? We're speaking. If we can create an ecosystem where every piece of the puzzle is fueling the other, I know the YOLO group does it exceptionally well. And that's why I look at them as one of my. There's a few mentors in the industry, and the YOLO group and Tim specifically.
Right.
I look up to them, and they've managed to create this vortex where their businesses are fueling each other, and they have managed to create this vortex where it's just on their own they keep growing from strength to strength. And kudos to him. We're trying to do in much smaller scale something similar, right? Where our events business is being assisted by our media business. And those two businesses are also fueling the VC arm. Those three businesses are also helping the foundation. Hopefully they keep fueling each other out.
Right. Yeah, because if we look at it, at foundation-wise, what you have today is and look at the say the major affiliates today, like say the Better Collectives, the Catena Medias, and so on. Again, these are traditional affiliates that have been really good at scaling and kind of weaponizing their market cap in order to make good acquisitions. They are obviously extremely streamlined and aggressive, and they have a great understanding. But what they don't have, for example, is the events. They don't have and talk about
the community maybe is not as
the community and talk again about creating trust and creating a good reputation and a good brand and a good domain with a brand that like Google is going to look at a company and an affiliate that is organizing events as like, okay, this is clearly not the person in a basement in a random country, whatever.
Correct.
This is a trust factor, right? And
Correct.
From that, it seems like there is so much like opportunity, like in the affiliate side of things. Like,
Correct.
Now
you go back to the original question, which you asked me at the beginning. Are you ready to sell?
Yes.
Now you understand a bit better why. No, now you understand better why I'm not ready to sell yet at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Because the end game can be so much bigger. The media business still has to grow to mature, right? It's still embryonic.
Right.
So yeah. Okay, sorry.
We'll put a calendar invite here when you do acquire Better Collective here in a couple of years.
Oh, us acquiring?
Yeah. Then we'll do a follow up at that point.
No. There's a lot of smaller fish that at the moment we're looking at in the affiliate business. There's a few very interesting assets wanting to sell.
So on that note, you recently acquired a minority stake, a 30% stake in Affiliate World, as you pointed out earlier in the conversation. What was the logic behind that part acquisition or investment or whatever you want to call it? Yeah. And what do you plan to do together with Affiliate World?
The deal there allows us to acquire 30% of the business, but more than interested in becoming a minority shareholder, it's wanting to rub shoulders with these guys. I went to their conference 10 years ago with my then girlfriend, now my wife, and both of us were blown away by the energy in the fucking room, right? We were in Bangkok and like, who are these people? And they were all super affiliates doing tremendously well, speaking at a technical level which we couldn't comprehend back then. And I just remained in awe for all those years. Back then, little did I know that I would become a very honored partner with them. Why the acquisition? Operators keep telling us, Eman, we want to see more affiliates. We don't want to see the same faces over and over again. PPC is a significant part of affiliation, not just SEO. And Affiliate World does tremendously well on that front. The acquisition wasn't there just for us to acquire 30%, but more strategically for us to align three of our conferences with their three conferences. So the plan is to have the show in Dubai and the other two shows, Bangkok and Barcelona from Affiliate World, aligned with three shows of SiGMA. So any operator from the gaming industry now knows that if they come to our show in Dubai, if they come to our show in Manila, if they come to our show in Prague, as we're moving Limassol to Prague, if they come to any of these three shows, there's going to be another 5,000 affiliates roaming the city, likely wanting to come to SiGMA because we give them free entrance anyway. And that fresh bloodline of affiliates hopefully will inject some reinvigorated strength in those operators. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When will be the first show that you align? It will
Dubai
be
immediately, yeah.
March or something like that. Then,
yeah, February, because March there's
Ramadan.
Ramadan, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so interesting. So it's a very different move. Yeah.
So 2 days SiGMA, followed by 2 days of Affiliate World. On our website, if you're registering, you get the opportunity to register to theirs. Yeah. Same on their website. So we're really becoming one.
Yeah. Right.
One.
So the question that is expected to be asked is so you have quite interesting verticals in the company. You obviously host the iGaming shows that are spread across the world. They are huge. You're also at the same time organizing conferences in other verticals. You mentioned the MedTech conference that's taking place now in Valletta next week. You host the AIBC shows as well, which is the blockchain and AI conferences as well. But outside of the conference world, you also are an affiliate. You do M&A introductions. You have the affiliate vertical as well. Is there any point you feel you get a bit spread thin doing everything at once?
Yeah, sometimes the thought crosses my mind. Yeah, obviously, I'm not oblivious to that. It all boils down to how strong your team is, right? People who invest and are involved in multiple companies, are they necessarily spreading themselves too thin? Is Tim Heath spreading himself too thin? I don't think so. I think he's strategically being involved in companies that support each other out, right? And most of his moves are 3 steps ahead, right? And I'd like to think that what we're doing with the SiGMA Group is also that. So we do the AIBC conference together with SiGMA. I'll give you a small example. We have the brand AIBC because we want to attract luminaries from AI, from blockchain, from crypto. You know, someone like Vitalik Buterin will never go to ICE or SiGMA or iGaming Next. I don't know, maybe he'll manage, but someone like Vitalik Buterin, Andreas Antonopoulos, CZ from Binance, these guys will never go to a gambling show. What we're trying to do by having AIBC sitting alongside SiGMA is use this brand to bring those luminaries to AIBC. Once they're there, they're going to be rubbing shoulders with the gaming industry, hopefully realizing that there is an opportunity to work together in the regulated gaming space, right? So whether we should abolish AIBC, absolutely not. It's doing exceptionally well sitting alongside SiGMA. Whether we should abolish or part ways with our affiliate business, absolutely not, because it's helping keep operators happy. And as a result, the happier the operators, the happier the B2B, and the more interest for affiliates to come to the show. The VC world, again, it's really fueling everything else we do, because now we have, a couple dozen founders who are also speaking vociferously about the SiGMA brand. No, I don't think we're going to at all. Sometimes it crosses my mind, but it's only during moments of weakness.
Right, and so obviously we've all seen the kind of the rise of SiGMA in years and the products that's been successful and so on. But can you talk about have you had any particular fuck up throughout the years? Is there any moments or any product you launched or any moment where you're like, okay, we fucked that up, basically?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Plenty. The most classic one, which everyone knows, is going against regulations. So I remember during COVID, the limit was 100 people. You couldn't have more than 100 people in a space.
100 people standing, 300 people seated. That was choose.
And it was at the time where, you go out to Pacheville, you see a sea of 50,000 people just snogging, right, in the streets of Pacheville. So there's that happening, and there's this law telling you no more than 100 people at a conference. Yeah. I'm seeing all my competition organizing conferences, having the time of their life in the rest of Europe because they had relaxed their regulations. I remember going to Amsterdam, to Barcelona, IGB and SBC, and they're having the time of their life because finally they could cash in. And Malta only allows 100 people. So we drafted this weird-ass looking plan where we thought, okay, there's all these entrances, 100 people will come from here, 100 people will come from there.
Yeah. And they have to go in sections, basically. Yeah, we had the same thing.
And they signed, and it was signed off,
stupid.
Right? It was signed off.
It's so fucking stupid.
It was signed off.
It was signed off.
It was signed off. So I mean, we're laughing now, but back then, it was either that or else I go bankrupt, right? And people lose their jobs, and it was a painful moment.
Yeah.
So the show happened, and I was ecstatic because after missing 2020 show, finally November 2021 could happen. So extremely happy. I think having Akon at Sky Club, we could have done without it.
What happened there? Tell the story.
Yeah,
I know. You tell it.
We could have done without it. So already some people were getting annoyed, right? Because there's SiGMA going on at the MFCC. And I think the party was just the last straw that broke the camel's back. So before midnight, you see like a sea of sirens, police cars just shutting down the party, which, I think we deserved to have it shut down because that was very insensitive. But again, the decision was taken on the fact that you go to Pacheville and you see 40,000 people snogging in the streets of Pacheville during COVID, right? A week before SiGMA.
So they chose to make an example of you, and at the same time it happened another 20 parties that night.
You were there, right? You know what? Yeah. So that was the biggest fuck up which I did. But in the grand scheme of things, I was extremely thankful that the company could survive. We took calculated risks, and overall, it worked out.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think we can't have this podcast also without talking about our friendly competition as well. So SBC been establishing their show in Barcelona a couple of years. They've done it extremely successfully over there. ICE decided to move from London to Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of controversies and some allegations were made back and forth there, and this ended with SBC taking the decision to move to Lisbon, of course. What did you make of all of this drama, if I may ask?
Yeah, we understand the pain Rasmus and his fabulous team would feel because of that. I don't think there was any malice from the side of Clarion. I've always found them extremely professional in what they do, and I look at them in awe, right? I learn a lot from Clarion, the way they operate, so professional. So I doubt there was any ill intentions from them. I genuinely believe that a survey was carried out, and it was in their best interest to hold it in Barcelona, which they did. Look, SBC are doing a show in Brazil after we had a successful show in Brazil. Do we complain? No, it's a free world. Come on. I'm sure their show will be great in Brazil. I'm sure our show will be also great in Brazil. And for us to say, but we were there first and you shouldn't have come there. No, it's not how we do business. Yeah.
When you see a show like SBC Barcelona, which has now moved to Lisbon, rising, mm-hmm. Do you feel it's becoming a threat to SiGMA, considering Malta, considering it's close to in the calendar year, it's kind of similar in proposition, so on and so forth? Is this show too competitive events, and how do you view that in the long run?
Great question. I'll be honest with you. We've been so busy with our shows back to back, right? Every 2 months we have a massive show to handle. And we've been so busy focusing on a global mandate, right? I'm devoting a lot of my energy becoming friends with the Asian community, but jumping in the trenches with the Asians. I'm spending a lot of energy jumping in the trenches with the community from Latin America, from Africa. So we're thinking global, and I'm quite frankly, I'm not thinking too much about how SBC, how iGaming Next, how ICE is going to disrupt SiGMA and Malta. Also, because SiGMA and Malta is just growing from strength to strength. I think there's room for plenty of shows. Yeah. Again, as we said before, right? I think there's room for more. I know the market seems saturated. I honestly think there's room for more still.
Yeah,
there's room for more. I'd actually love to do an exercise. I'd love to see how many exhibitors the shows get. I want to see what ICE gets in terms of online exhibitors online. Yeah, let's part ways with their land-based presence.
Yeah,
online exhibitors at ICE, online exhibitors online gaming exhibitors at SBC, at SiGMA. I don't think there's been anyone who has done a study like this. Yeah, because those numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
You can say you have 200,000 delegates, but unless they're audited, who's, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
It's
The numbers are usually rounded upwards, so. Slightly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
But exhibitors don't lie, right? The floor plan is there. You're not gonna put companies that didn't exhibit on the floor. It would look tremendously silly. So yeah, I'd love for someone to do an exercise and say, okay, 2023, these are the exhibitors across the largest shows in Europe.
Yeah.
And that would give you generally a good idea of how many delegates those shows are getting, because I think it's proportionally related, right?
Yeah, probably. So looking forward now, Eman, you've decided to grow through M&A to some extent, now to enter the Brazilian market through M&A, affiliate world through M&A, in the affiliates vertical as well, M&A as well. Do you see future growth in SiGMA as well through M&A? Are you looking more at organic growth or growth through M&A?
Both. It's a learning curve for me. I'm learning a lot on the M&A front. And I want to keep growing SiGMA, both organically and through M&A. I still treat it as a startup, so I try to retain this energy in me rather than spending too much time in the boardroom. I want to be out there with people, meeting new people, just like I built a community around me in Europe. Now I'm doing the same in Asia, in Africa, in LATAM. Not so much in the States, in North America, in those markets. So yeah, maybe an acquisition on those lines could be fitting for the SiGMA group. But sky's the limit, right? There's still so much more to achieve.
Yeah. Wait, is there any of the three verticals that you prioritize? Is the conference vertical, that's the main vertical, that's what funds the other verticals, let's say?
So far, yes. Yeah. And it's in our roadmap that we balance them out.
Right.
So, if you look at the conference business, there's potentially 100,000 people that can come to your conferences, right, all over the world. And we're really coming close to that. On the affiliate front, probably, I don't know, 10 million customers can become your client. So if we hit 100,000 on the events, 10 million on the play, on SiGMA Play, then we're flying, right? Then we're flying. But that's going to take a while.
Yeah. Then Eman can go down to the beach and relax for a couple of days.
There's more, right? There's the VC fund. That's a mandate until 2030. Again, we're hoping to see 15 to 20x returns to our investors there. And ultimately, what truly makes me happy is the foundation. If I can impact positively at least 1 million people in this world before I die, I feel like I've achieved something.
Amazing. And final thing to wrap things up here today is, Eman, where do you envision SiGMA in 3 years' time? 3 years from now to 3 years to today has been an incredible journey. What do you envision for the next 3 years?
Yeah, great question. The events, we want to have strong shows across all continents. We don't want our Africa show to be smaller than any others. We want them all to be powerful. On the SiGMA Play front, we really want to become an authority, a trusted authority, that collectively between the summits and SiGMA Play, we want to change the landscape of gambling. We have this fun saying, from stigma to SiGMA. And I know it sounds cheesy and corny, but the industry has a perception, right? Look at most gaming companies. Even the regulator itself, it's not the Malta Gambling Authority, it's the Malta Gaming Authority. So many mask what we're actually doing by using the euphemisms like gaming, and we want to maybe soften that perception, right? That regulated gambling that's safe and has the best interest of the ecosystem to thrive in in a sustainable way can be done, right? We need gaming to be more regulated, so the ultimate end user, the player, is always protected. And I think we have a role to play there. We have a mandate to bring all the stakeholders together at our summits, but even the wider stakeholders with the players themselves on our portal. So we go on the SiGMA website. It's just one website where you find all the summits, but you also find reviews. There's going to be a space where which acts as an alternative dispute resolution center where players can file their complaints, and we can act as a mediator between the operator and the player. The ultimate aim, it might take more than 3 years, is for us to become the trusted authority for the online gambling. I'm not shying away from the word gambling, for the online gambling industry.
Right. Eman, we've come a long way since the parties at Western Pavilion, the SiGMA parties back then. I remember it, I don't know if you remember that year when it was like a total mayhem down there, trying to organize things and set it up. It's always a pleasure to sit down and speak with you, and all the best of luck in the future. Thanks for today, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Amazing.